guys, it's Maymay, and today I'm going to be reviewing and demoing the Word punch board from We Are Memory Keepers. Now, just going to let you know, I love this guy. I'm very fond of We Are Memory Keepers punch boards, and this is no exception. So what is this board, you might ask? This is a punch board that allows you to spell out words any way you need to using these punches. And the punches actually punch through your cardstock or your paper for your project. It's just really cute. The best thing about it is if you have people in your family or if you know people who have very unusual spellings of their name, or maybe there's an organization you're a part of that you want to be very specific about, you can do that here, where a lot of times with stamps, you can't find that sort of thing. So this is super cool. You can really personalize just about anything. Some examples they give us on the box, like here on this tag, it says sun and sea, and they did that by punching out the letters. Here you can say that they did surf and vacay, because you can use the space that is punched out, the negative space, and you can also use the positive space, which is the letter that is left behind. You kind of get 2 for 1 here. So you can see how they have it punched here, but they glued down the letters that came from the punch here. On the back, you'll see some more examples of places that you can use it. And what I'm going to do today is I'm going to show you how it is designed to be used. And then I'm going to show you how I bring the letters closer together. Okay, so let's do those 2 things. So first, let's look at the board itself. This is very familiar to you if you're a We Are Punch fan. This reminds you a lot of the Planner Punch Board. It does. It actually works very much the same way, in that the little punches go inside of here, they lock into the little grooves, and then you can punch. If you're not familiar with the punch board, I'll leave a link to what the punch board is below, and what that does, the Planner Punch Board, I should say. That one punches holes so that you can put pages into your planners and things like that. This one does letters. I do believe these would work in both. I have not tried it, but I think they would. But at this point in time, when you purchase this punch, you get these letters with it, the full alphabet. I would imagine, I don't know, I have not been told this, but I would imagine over time we'll probably get new fonts or things like that to go with this. But for now, this is how this comes. You get the alphabet and the board. I've had people ask me if there's numbers. Again, I have a feeling numbers are coming. I feel like that's just one of those things that makes sense. So let's just keep our eyes out for that. All right, how does this guy work? Super easy, okay? Let's punch a word. Let's punch the word welcome, okay? So I'm going to need, I want to show you this about the letters before I get too into this. These letters will lock together with these little pieces here. This one locks into this letter. So for storage, you can line them up in a line and store them whatever way works best for you. And then to remove them, you just pop them off of each other. You slide this little guy out, they pop off, and then you can use them individually. For my demonstration today, to keep me from searching for letters, I just did them like this so I could just grab them real easy, and they're all individual for me. All right, let's do welcome. So what you do with the punch board, in this corner, it is made so that this letter slides right in to that little corner. It fits. And at the front, it will show you there is a number 1 slot, and this little guy sits right in the number 1 slot. Your first letter goes there, okay? That's pretty easy. Then we'll do an E, because we're going to do the word welcome. Okay, and then we'll do an L. You just keep going down the line and you're putting them right together. This is how the punch board works. It's super easy. We're going to put in C, and then we're going to put in O, and then M, and then the letter E. And you'll notice I'm going to need this E again. So I'm just going to let it be here for now. And once we finish this first punch, we'll come back and put the E here so we can finish it. Now, the only thing that matters about this punch board is that you know how to spell. And spelling is a challenge for me. So you might find that to be a problem. But you know what? We have Google nowadays for that, right? Okay, so welcome without the E. Then you take this little top piece, and what's really cool is there's this bar that runs across it here. That bar lines up with these little punches, and it presses them all down for you with the pressure that you're going to put on the top. So let's do that. And once it stops, it's done, okay? Don't feel like you need to press. Once it pops in, it's done, and you can lift this little lid up, and you can slide this out. And now you see that we've got the first part of the word welcome. Now, I need to remove these guys. And as I do, I want you to look underneath. Notice what's under there? It's all the little letters that we punched out. So you can now take these and use them somewhere else. And I think it's super cute how it puts them into the little slots beside each other. Precious. Now for the E, because I've left my little leftover pieces in here, I know I need this E to go right here. So I'm going to line it up over that slot, okay, using the little lines in the backer there to help me line it up. And now this little slot right here, which we used in the beginning to line our paper up, we're going to go right back to it, put our paper in where it was, okay, so that's just how it was, and then punch the E. And now you get the full word welcome. Okay. Now this is super cute and I love this very much. I think this works great. But a lot of you guys have asked me how to pull these letters closer together. And you sent me video links of people who have done it. One person in particular, her name was Jan. She did it and she did it using math. And you know me and my brain with math, right? I don't do math well. But I did a little process that I think will make it easier for you. So I'm going to show you that process sort of quickly. It might take a second, but I'm going to try my best to make it really easy to understand. Another cool thing is you only need to remember the measurement 5/8. If you want this strip to have your letters centered top and bottom, all you got to remember is 5/8. So if you put this little side that's the top of the letters onto the 5/8 mark of your trimmer, and you run your blade up right there at 5/8, oops, I need to sink my blade, then you will see that your letters will be centered top to bottom on your little strip, and it'll look like you knew exactly how to measure that out. But that's super cool. So a 5/8 strip is what works to get these centered up. And that information's on the box. So if you're concerned that you might forget it or what have you, don't worry, it's on the box. Okay, well, let's move letters closer together. So I'm going to take my time to explain this. I want this to make perfect sense and for you to be able to use it every time you want to do a word where the letters are closer together. Okay? I'm going to write the word I want to do. The word I want to do is excellent. So I'm going to start at the top. This is just a scrap piece of paper, okay? So I'm going to start here and I'm going to write excellent. And I'm leaving space between each letter. And I am exaggerating my space for purpose of the videos. I just want this to be really clear for you guys. So you don't really need that much space, but I'm doing that to be able to show you on camera, okay? The next thing I'm going to do, once I've decided the word I want to do, is I'm going to draw a line that's about 1 inch long between each letter, just straight down. This is just to give my brain some separation between the letters. I tried doing this the way Jan showed it by just doing the numbers, and it just confused me. I need a chart. I've learned that about myself. Now, here's the situation. The little planner board, the little punch board, has these little numbers here. Okay, so all of these little slots have numbers for you. They are just embossed into the little plastic, so you do have to look kind of close to see them, but these are numbers. So each little notch is numbered, and that notch lines up with that little piece right there. So as long as you know the number you need to put your letter on, you'll be perfectly fine, okay? That's what we're going to do with this little process I'm going to show you here, okay? Now here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to imagine 2 separate punches, okay? We're going to punch every other letter first, and then our second punch, we're going to punch every other letter, all right? So we're going to start with E on our first punch. We'll do the E, the C, the L, the E, and the T. That'll be our first punch. Then we'll change the letters and do our X, E, L, and N, and that's what's going to bring everything together, okay? So here's how you do it. Your first letter will always start in slot number 1. So I'm just going to write slot number 1 right there. Your second letter is always going to start in slot number 5. All right. So I'm going to come right down here and write 5. Notice I'm writing one number at the top and one at the bottom. That's because this is going to be my first punch slots. This is going to be my second punch slots. Don't stress about this. As a matter of fact, if you need to draw a line right here just to keep yourself in check, do that. The other thing you can do to keep yourself in check, I know that I'm doing 2 different punches, half the letters first and half the letters second. So I know my E starts here. I'm going to come in and put this little dot every other letter. That way I know I don't have to pay attention to those letters on my first punch, okay? And down here I'm going to do it the opposite. And that way I know I'm not paying attention to those letters on my second punch, okay? So starting on the first row, number 1, we need to add 8. That's what you're going to remember. You're going to add 8. That's your formula, add 8. That's all you have to remember, okay? So you're going to go 1 plus 8 is 9. And there is no shame in my game. I do not do math, and I want to be sure that I get this right. So I'm just going to pull out my calculator, and I'm not going to stress about it. You guys know this is how I do things. So my first row, 1 plus 8, okay, is 9, plus 8 is 17, goes here, plus 8 is 25, plus 8 is 33. Those are the slot numbers that those letters need to go into, okay? Now we're going to come to the second row. Clear my calculator, put in 5 plus 8 is 13, goes in this slot, plus 8 is 21, plus 8 is 29. Now I am good. All I have to do now is make sure those letters that coincide with those numbers go in those slots, and I'm good. This is just how my brain has to work, okay? So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to punch this. I'm going to actually use this same piece of paper so I can show you on the bottom what it's going to look like. But first, I'm going to start with these top letters. So let me bring our board back over. So here's our board, okay? I need my first letter E to be in slot number 1. So this makes it easy. See, I just look for the letters. If I can find the letters, I'm in really good shape. Here it is. I set it off to the side. So there's E in slot number 1. I'm going to skip a letter and go to the next one. I need my C to be in slot number 9. So looking at the board and using it to help me match things up, I'm going to put that little guy in slot number 9. See that barely little gap between them? That's what you want. Then I'm going to skip the E and go to this L, and it needs to go into slot 17. Trust your math, okay? Don't look at this. Trust your math. Then I'm going to skip this spot and go to E for 25, but I want you to pay attention. I've already used the E, so what do? This is what I do. I make a circle around the ones I need to come back and fill in so I don't forget. Then I need to go to the T and put it in 33. This seems extremely confusing, but if you'll watch this a couple times and see what I do, it'll clear it all up. Notice that space. This is big enough for a letter. Trust your math. Okay, now I'm going to take this little piece of paper. We're going to punch it on the same paper. I'm going to slide this in. You don't have to use the same paper. I'm just using this as my scrap and my sample. And I'm going to punch these letters. Okay, so when I pull this out, I have every other letter except the one I'm missing right there. Okay, so now I'm going to go back to my chart. I'm going to remove these guys. Don't need them in here anymore. I'm going to go to the circle one that I didn't finish, and I'm going to put it in slot 25. In person, I can read that pretty good, okay? I know you can't see that on the screen. Then, again, we're still using that same spot to line everything up. That's what makes it so cool. Push this in and punch our E. Now we have every other letter, all right? Move the E out. And now all we have to do is go to row 2. That's in our math down here, okay? Go to row 2. X goes in 5. Come over here. E goes in 13. L goes in 21, and then N goes in 29. And let me find my N. You guys are probably staring at it. Have I used it already? Here it is, staring at me. Goes in 29. All right, now, if my math is right, and I have tested and tested and tested this, if I've done this process correctly, when I put this guy in and line it up at the same spot in that little hook right there, this should work. And it does. It's excellent. Look at that. We pulled everything together. So using that formula, okay, where you write out the words you want to do, you put a line so you can keep them separated, and you remember the first letter starts with 1, the second letter starts with 5, and then it's add 8. That's all you have to remember, add 8. This is going to work for you for everything. But here's what I want you to remember. Say you're doing something that has spaces in it. You want to make sure you put your spaces here too. It's just like when you're typing. You remember back in the day when we were typing, and if we wanted to center something, we had to make sure we counted the space. You want to do the same thing. So if you were going to do excellent day, for example, just to add a word, then you just want to make sure you add your space in here, okay? And you're going to need to know where those spaces are. So do your math, okay? Just continue it out and it will work. Let me show you. This is the one I just did for you on camera, okay? This is where we were practicing. We've practiced so many times. This is one that I did practicing. This is where I did practicing, trying to get it right, okay? And then I had the guys from the shipping department come in, and they did it too. Here's one where I think Josh did the word paradise, and he did it with doing it the same process. And then I'm pretty sure this was Caleb that did the word verdant or verdant. I don't know how to say this word. He did this word, and he used the math. So we've tested that to make sure that works before I bring it to you. And I think it's a pretty easy way to do it. Now listen, I don't believe there's any easy way to do math because because I'm not a math person, but I just have to see things in chart form. So I hope that helps you when you're trying to bring your letters together. And I want to say a big thank you to Jan. I cannot remember her last name, but I'll put a link to her blog below. I want to say a big thank you to her because she's the one who made me even realize that, oh, we can mess with these slots and move these numbers together. And again, she did it great the first time. I just needed to do it some way that I could understand it, and I hope this helps you guys out as well. Now, as far as my review of this board, I think it's great. I think it's a good price. I really love having it in my stash because you just never know when I need to say something very specific. The other thing I want to show you is how cute these little letters are. So let me show you one more thing. The other thing I want to show you is if you've picked up our Letterboard Love stamp set, this is so cute to me. This is the letterboard that you can stamp onto anything you want to stamp it onto. This is what it looks like when it's stamped. And these little letters work perfect. Let me show you this. So I'm going to take my art glitter glue and using like the letter E, I am going to use my tweezers because this is kind of fancy, tiny little get into work, because these letters are small. So I'm going to just put some glue on the back of these using my fine metal tip. That helps. Okay. And then you can just place these down on one of the lines and they work perfectly on this little letterboard. Look how cute this is. They look just like little letterboard letters. And so I'm going to keep going here. Add a little more glue to this guy. I think this is so cute. So you don't really have to waste anything, which I love. This works. These little letters go across two lines, so you can see how they fit like they're right in between the two lines there. I'm not doing a very good job. I'm trying to use my camera up here to help me line this up, so forgive me for being uneven. Let's add another one. Put a little glue here. I bet you could use like a adhesive on your paper, like a full sheet of adhesive, like we carry full sheet of adhesive here. I bet you could do that and then punch through, and then these would already be like stickers. But honestly, they're so tiny, it would probably be hard to peel the little backer off too. I think you're better off to stick them down like this using glue. But just look how cute this is. This works perfect. So I hope this has inspired you guys on how to use your punch board in a couple of different ways and to mix it with some of your other products at home. You may even just want to draw some lines out and draw yourself a little letterboard looking deal, but just look how cute this is. I love it. Perfect for back to school because this kind of has that back to school feel about it, in my opinion. So let's put this one down and we'll stop at this since this is a word. But I think this will be super cute for your back to school projects. If you're doing a card for someone, maybe a teacher's just graduated from college and they're going to start teaching, you could make them a cute little board saying congratulations, etc. Super cute. Okay, so there's a couple ideas. That is the We Are Memory Keepers punch board, and I really do love it. I hope you guys pick one up. I'll leave a link to our store below. We do carry this at maymaymadeit.com, and I think it is awesome. So if you want to pick it up, it'll be there for you. Thanks so much for watching today, guys. Let me know if there's anything you want me to try with it. There's a couple more things I want to try, and I'll certainly bring those to you when I do it. But let me know if you have any ideas you'd like to see me try in the comments below. Thanks so much for watching. Talk to you again real soon. Bye-bye.